everybody, and welcome to Fusion Body Studio. You've got your two girl bosses here. We are a female-owned business, aren't we, Paul? It's just us, isn't it?
Yep, we're partners in crime, but good crime.
Yeah. Paula, we're coming up. We're going to be dropping this video on February. Where did my mind? December 20th, 2025, which is actually our year anniversary. Happy birthday, Fusion Body Studio!
Yay! 1 year anniversary. I'm so proud of us.
Me too.
This is so amazing. It's really quite an accomplishment, I think.
Oh my God, yes. And it's hard when you have your own business. With our audience watching right now, you guys know, like, if you're a business owner, like, it is freaking tough too, because especially the first few years. And I have to say, most businesses, when they start, the first few years, they're in the red, and we haven't been in the red. We've been profitable in that, and we have our students to thank for that. And we obviously, our students are what, if we didn't have students, Paul and I would just be talking to each other.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but still.
So thank you to all of our students for allowing us to serve you, for allowing us to teach you, for trusting us, and for trusting yourselves. And I am so excited. We've had a glow up this year. We started as the Esoteric Academy, and then we glowed up. We turned into Fusion Body Studio because we felt like that was a better name for what we're doing, because we're fusing. We're taking the real spiritual teachings that are so ancient and so old, and we're making them modern, right? Mm-hmm. So that people can and we were talking about that before we signed on, Paula. You were talking about the Yoga Sutras, and that's something I want to do in the future, is do an interactive course over the Yoga Sutras on Fusion Body, maybe with Todd, because Todd is a master teacher, with our students. And you were saying that sometimes old text gets intimidating because the language of speech is different, even though once you understand what they're saying the same things we're saying now. And so I am honored to be able to have all of this education, to be able to then to repackage the same message in a more modern way, so that people understand that it's not that complicated, is it? It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah, but like, I get very overwhelmed. I mean, I remember even in high school when we had to, learn about Shakespeare, and I was just like, I don't understand what they're saying. And some people just get it, but for me, it just goes over my head because it's just too much. And so I love when people can explain things in a really just simple modern day. I mean, like, I'm a smart person, and I'm clever at doing things like websites, and I can do bookkeeping and all of that kind of stuff, and healing. But when it comes to really, really academic stuff, I'm not really up there. So I mean, but I feel like, you definitely are. So that's
people
where
panic sometimes. I think if you relaxed your mind a little bit, you would get it. I think that's just
Probably.
I think I don't sell yourself short, basically, is what I'm saying. I think you're just panicking. But I think,
Probably.
but of course, this is part of my, Todd this past week did a conference with our students, and we're actually going to play a snippet of that at the end of this video, so hold on. We've blocked out our students' faces where Todd is speaking about meditation. And he talks about, if anybody's familiar with the eight-limbed path of yoga, which is Ashtanga. Ashtau is 8, Tanga limb, 8-limbed path, which is, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, so forth. And a lot of people make these mistakes of thinking that these are separate things that you do separately, like you exercise, then you meditate, and then you do a breathing practice. No, it's in a wheel, because it all happens together in that moment of exercise, because you're trying to get your mind, you're literally bringing yourself to a place of misery. It just sucks, like, where your body's hurting, your mind is yelling at you, and you keep putting one foot in front of the order, so you snap into this place of meditation. Because meditation is not, one of the biggest lies that the establishment has sold people is that meditation is manifesting, or meditation is speaking to spirits, or meditation is daydreaming. That's not what meditation is. Meditation is something different from that. That's communication. Meditation is a one-pointed focus of mind. That's all it is. And so when you are in a place of misery, you have nowhere else to place your mind but in that moment. And that's when the meditation kicks in. They call it a runner's high. If you've ever been a runner and you catch that runner's high, that's meditation. I realized when I was in high school, the one sport that I loved was cross country running. And I realized I wasn't competitive. I didn't care if I won or not. Didn't give a shit if I won or not. I loved it because looking back, it was the meditation of it. I didn't know it back then. That's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that that's what I was craving, was getting to the point, like my dad used to say, you never see runners smile. Well, no, you never see runners smile because they're miserable. So why do they keep doing it? Why do people keep running?
Exactly. There's obviously something powerful in it.
There's meditation. It's meditation. It keeps you in your body. You came here, and this is what gets me too, Paula, with modern day spirituality, is people are trying to escape their body.
Yeah.
You came here to be in a body. What are you doing? Be in your body. And so there's so much to this, and I'm so excited that we're growing and we're able to like take modern exercises. Like I love the bar classes. We have strength training classes, walking classes. So it fits every person. Like you're not, even though exercise is the foundation of spirituality, where you're not being asked to be an Olympic athlete.
No.
For some people, that's where they're going to have to get to find the meditation. But for some people, it's just walking a mile a day.
Yep.
You know, that's
and it's fun. That's what I love about your classes, is that they're fun. I'd say the ABBA one's probably my absolute favorite because I just love the ABBA music.
Oh, the ABBA ones? Yes. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun one. And we have today, you guys, as the 20th, our year anniversary, our last workout of the year, our first year, is a workout that is created by all of our students. I have them send me all their favorite moves. And so I've weaved them together to make one final 2025 workout because why not,
Which
right?
is the coolest idea. I love
Let's
that you
just
came up with
celebrate
that.
it, right? Let's celebrate. We've got bar for men now, which is becoming,
Yes.
I've heard from many people, that's one of their favorite is the bar for men. And we do it a little bit different than the bar fusion. And so we really want to help people find that. And Todd, bless his heart, he's such a sport to do. He's not a dancer. He's a yoga person. So the fact that he's been willing to do this on camera, to be the guinea pig for bar for men, speaks volumes. And yeah, you guys. So do we want to go ahead and tell her before we get into the episode, Paula, do we want to talk about our special code?
Yes, absolutely. So we've created a special code for everyone. We're offering 40% off, and the code is NEWU26, all in capital letters. We'll add that in at the link in the description box below. But basically, you can use that 40% off to it'd be more worthwhile to if you're going to purchase the quarterly membership or the yearly membership, because 40% off is a huge discount, and then that's it for the whole year basically. And you can enjoy and explore, but even before you make that payment, you still get the 7-day free trial. So you can give it a go. If it's not for you, then you just cancel, and we send out, like, we've got automated emails that get sent out to remind you that before you get charged, because I hate that when you do a trial of something and then you forget about it and then you get charged. So we've got the automatic email coming out to let you know, and then if it's not for you, just cancel. But if it is for you, you can completely change your life. I mean, we have been slowly interviewing people from Fusion Body Studio who have been sharing their experiences with us. And their stories are just, I mean, it just makes me cry.
Yeah, me too. It's amazing what people, and that's the thing is, I think so many people judge others so harshly. Like you see somebody at the gym or at your yoga studio and they have this super fit body and they really are look very athletic, and you judge them like, oh, it's easy for them, but you actually don't know what that person has been through. And it's not fair to judge them, and that also isn't fair to you. To think, you don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 10, and to hear what other people, and it's so funny. I meant to tell you this, Paula, and I think I tagged it. I can't remember if I tagged it on Instagram or not. I'm paraphrasing. They had done this study of women who consistently work out, because we see a lot of, especially with women fall off. They start a program and then they stop and they start again. And so they started studying women specifically who never stop, that they just keep working out. Someone like me, who for 20 years, I've just consistently, and they found that women who consistently are able to stay disciplined, it's because of one thing. They're doing it for their mental clarity.
Yeah.
It's not about vanity. It's not about, it's for their mental health. And that's kind of what where meditation is, right? It's your mental health. It's, if you're doing a workout for vanity, it's going to fall apart at some point.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm one of those women that have been on and off, start again, stop again over the years. This year, I've still had a bit of up and down with that, but this year has probably been the most consistent I've ever been. And I think it's because I'm doing it for completely different reasons now. You know, I'm not doing it for vanity. I'm doing it because I'm learning how important exercise is for our health and our spiritual growth. But also, just also as getting older, because I mean, I'm 38, nearly 39, and it's once we get over, I think it's over 35, that's when our muscle starts to degenerate. And if you're not using the muscles, I mean, that's it. It's scary what happens, because especially dementia runs in my family, and I want to be one of those people that turns that dementia gene off, because we totally have the choice. Just because something runs in our family doesn't mean that we're going to get it, but it's based on our life choices. And
Absolutely.
stress is the number one killer of anything and everything. If you're stressing about how you're living your life, what products you're using, what food you're eating, if you're stressing about money, all of that kind of stuff, the stress is going to kill you before, the food that you're eating or the product. So, that's going to cause more damage. So you're actually better off just not stressing about everything and not being quite so worried. And that's where the exercise is so powerful, as you explain, you and Todd explain, is that you're detoxing everything out of your body. You're moving the body around. You're strengthening the muscles. The blood's pumping everything through the body. So you're releasing everything and
You
getting
become resilient.
You do. Yeah. And it helps with dementia, helps with, Alzheimer's.
Legs. What was it?
Strongly, so you can get up and down off the chair.
Yeah.
When you pick up your grandkids when you're older, you can, just being able to move, just being mobile.
Yeah.
It's so important.
We've been sold a lie that at some point we just age. And what I've learned, even just going back and forth to India, the gurus of India, they're like 99 years old and they're still in the shala moving bodies around. And so this is a lie. Like it's up to you whether you're going to age or not. It's not your genetics. Somebody said we don't inherit genetics. We inherit bad patterning. We inherit bad choices.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And if any of you have watched the Blue Zone series on Netflix, that is a fantastic series to watch, because the Blue Zones is all about the little pockets of people around the world that will live to over 100 years of age. And especially, I think it was in maybe Okra in Japan or something. That could totally be wrong. I apologize if it is, but you're seeing these people. They're gardening every day. They're sitting on the floor to eat their meal. They're getting up and down multiple times every day. And these 70, 80, 90-year-old men and women, and they're sitting with their family. They're having a community lifestyle. And, they're active all day, every day. And that's the difference. That's why they're living to over 100. Yeah. And then people in Western countries sitting at desks all day. I mean, we're prime examples. We're sitting at a desk all day. And that's why we need to move. We've got to get up and move.
Yeah, move the body fluids. And it's your choice. You're not a victim. I mean, that's one thing that Lou has said over and over again. Y'all aren't victims. Stop it. Stop. I think some people like being the victim. They like having the excuse because it makes them special. So it's a subconscious thing, but you're not. We all came here to planet Earth for a certain specific reason. And part of that was to be just very simple, to be in a body and to feel the limitations of the body, to push up against those limitations. And it doesn't matter if you have a handicap or not. I've worked with people in wheelchairs. I've worked with people. We have somebody at AYA now who's got cerebral palsy. We've worked with so many people who have perceived limitations, and we were able to work there. There's always a solution. There's always a solution. But before we get into, I know we're going to talk about tips for the holidays, Paula, and all that kind of stuff, but we have some exciting stuff coming up in the new year for Fusion Body Studio. I know we're going to have an Ashtanga beginner course. We're finally going to be able to do that because now we're filming at AYA. So now as soon as we get our microphone in, we're going to be able to have that virtual beginner course for Ashtanga. We're talking about potentially doing an interactive Yoga Sutras course. There's so much, so amazing, so many other guest teachers that we're talking to about coming on and doing things. Now you're going to be doing we were talking about the Kabbalah. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Paula?
Well, yeah, I'm excited because at the moment I've been working on creating an abundance course because I feel like abundance is a huge issue for so many of us, especially with the way the world's going at the moment. Everybody is so financially stressed, and abundance is a huge issue. So it's been on my mind for quite some time to do a course about that, but it's really important to me that I'm doing it the right way. So I've been looking at lots of different sources. The first kind of idea that I got of wanting to create the abundance course is on a book called Angel Abundance by Belinda J. Womack. And she's got some fascinating information in there about working with the 12 archangels to help create abundance. So I want to implement some of that. But I've also recently been learning about Kabbalah. And so that's a very ancient and traditional kind of spirituality. It's not like a religion or anything. It's funny because I very first heard about Kabbalah back when I was a teenager reading gossip magazines. I remember hearing about like Madonna was doing Kabbalah, and I was like, oh God, what is this? Is this some kind of like a Scientology kind of thing? I was a bit wary of it. And it's come into my life a few times. And I've been interested, but just not quite there. And then recently it's just come into my life in a unique way. And it's just resonating with me so much. And, but basically I wanted to kind of create a course that's going to incorporate working with the angels, because I'm very passionate about working with the angels, but sharing some of these amazing teachings from Kabbalah, and then also implementing the Yoga Sutras. So it's going to be a really, really unique course because there are actually quite a few similarities between Kabbalah and the Yoga Sutras. So I really want to cover that. But I was just sharing with you before we jumped on to record, and I was just explaining how in Kabbalah they actually teach that you have a vessel. Yeah. And in order to receive things, you need to build your vessel. And if your vessel is quite small, then you can only hold so much. But as you build your vessel and expand it, and you do this by having a relationship with Source, the universe, the creator, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever works for you. It's not about worshipping or, handing anything over to like Jesus and all of that situation with, he has to forgive your sins and all of that. Like that's
necromancy. We're not into necromancy.
Yeah. No, that's just not what it is at all. It's all about just building that trust with the source that is in all of us, in everything, and building that vessel so that you can receive. And it's just so fascinating. That was a bit of a wake-up call for me because it makes so much sense. I mean, if you think about people that have won lottery, they get this big sum of money and then it ends up just disappearing. They end up blowing it on things, or they give it to people and family, and it's all gone. And it's because they haven't built the vessel to receive it. They haven't built the mindset and the knowledge of what to do with that money and to use it. And another fascinating topic in Kabbalah is called the bread of shame. So the bread of shame is basically if you haven't earned something, you end up feeling shameful about
that's fair. Okay, let's pause on that because that's why vision boards are dangerous. And Lou has scolded us. Manifestation, if you're manifesting, you are practicing black magic. You have to earn what is given to you. If you are just bippity boppity boo bringing in stuff that you're not earning, you are stealing it from somebody else.
You are, yeah. And so
I'm glad they
I
have
love
that.
this. I love this concept. And the perfect example of this is if you think about children that come from a wealthy family.
Mhm.
And if the parents haven't brought the child up to understand how money works and how they and have some kind of agreement in place where they can't receive their trust or something until they've earned or reached certain achievements in order to get that, then when everything's just handed to a child, they end up having resentment and shame about it. It's all on a subconscious level. People don't realize, oh, I feel shameful about this, but they'll go off and they'll do stupid things. You know, they might waste their money on drugs or partying and doing reckless
They
things.
have to find their own self-worth.
They haven't earned it. They
No,
haven't earned that money. It's just been handed to them. And so I love that I just think that's such an important concept. So I'm going to be adding all of this into the course.
And where that comes from, this is why when you talk about like having the mindset for it. So Yoga Sutras 3.38, so the third pada, Sutra 38, says these powers are obstacles to samadhi, but appear as attainments to the worldly mind. So Patanjali is saying attachment to siddhis reinforces ego, which blocks liberation. So what does that mean? A siddhi would be like a magical power, like being able to manifest, being able to pull things in. And this is what caused Atlantis to fall.
Yes.
Because and that's why in yoga, we spend at least 10 years just studying the first two sutras before a teacher will ever look at the third and fourth sutras with you, padas with you, because you have to shatter your ego before you're given these gifts. Because if you are still living in ego, it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
And it's going to either force you to totally just obliterate yourself into nothingness. You're going to soul smash, or you're going to go service to self.
Yep, 100%. I mean, if you think about if you've got a cup and if you're pouring water into that cup and, you know, it can only go, depending on how big that cup is, you can only receive how big that cup is. And the rest is just going to overflow. So even if you magically were able to bring in a huge amount of abundance, like the lottery, for example, it ends up getting taken away from you because you haven't earned that.
No, and you have to know who you are. That's the thing about yoga. You have to know, like, you are not your bank account. You are not your material possessions. I listened to Alison Mack, who just got out of prison from Nexium, and she said something pretty profound that I thought, well, that's yoga. She said, I realized when I was in prison that whether I'm sitting in a prison cell or in Monte Carlo, I'm still the same. I'm still me. Yeah. And so a lot of people put their self-worth based on material possessions. And material possessions aren't bad. That's why people like, we were talking about 50 Cent and P. Diddy. Like, look at both of these men are super wealthy. They've earned their money, for better or for worse. They've earned it. But 50 Cent knows who he is.
Yes.
We also know he's a wanderer, right? He's sixth density. So look what he did with his money. He used it to protect others. He used it to be of service to the world. What did P. Diddy do with his money? He used it to serve himself.
Yeah.
And so I think, too, we have to also realize a big truth that which when Lou said this, I was like, duh. I don't know why we didn't realize this. There is no such thing as infinite energy here. There's not infinite.
Which, at first, it took me a little bit to get to understand that concept because I was like, what? I thought, you know, we live in an infinite universe. But if you think about it, it actually really makes sense because here on third density, we're experiencing duality, we're experiencing polarity, and of course there's not an infinite amount.
There's an energy exchange. Everything is based off of an energy exchange. Because you would not have theft. You would not have black magic if there was infinite energy. And that's also the main rule of Prakriti. Prakriti is anything that is nature. It's anything that has a birth, a life, and a death, a beginning, a middle, or an end. And because of that, it's in fluctuations of change. So of course it's not infinite. Of course it's not. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yeah. To be infinite is the soul. And the soul has absolutely nothing to do with Prakriti. The soul has nothing to do with how much money. The soul has nothing to do with personality. It has nothing to do with physical body. The physical body,
Yeah.
the personality is just the learning lesson of the soul. That's why exercise is important, because it gives you that learning lesson, so that when Lou said, they were like, oh, duh. And then you start to see where the controlled opposition has screwed up our thoughts. And what's happening is, so people start to steal. They start to
Yeah.
value themselves based on what they have or their personality. And so they start to do these. I mean, how many people do you know, Paula, who've made vision boards?
Oh, heaps. Yeah.
That's black magic.
Yeah.
That's black magic. If you want to be rich and have a big house, fantastic, but you have to earn it and you have to work on yourself so you're responsible enough to handle it. Because if
Yeah.
you're not responsible enough to handle it, it's going to backfire on you. You are responsible for, I was listening to the conference Todd did with you guys, and how we are karmically, according to the law of one, the moment we are born, we are karmically responsible for ourselves.
Hmm.
It's hard for us to like accept that kids are,
Yeah.
but
It
we
is.
start developing karma the minute we're born. And
Yeah.
so we have to be very responsible with what we're given. And that's why I love that you're going to do that. And as the Yoga Sutras, if this is all new to you guys listening, remember it takes 10 years in traditional yoga of working on yourself, working on yourself, working on yourself before a teacher will even remotely sit down and start talking to you about the siddhis. Because they want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're not going to use this, that you're not
For the wrong.
for the wrong
Hmm.
reasons, that you still have an ego. Every time we have a body, we have an ego, but we
Yes.
understand what that is and that that's not real. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's all about your mindset as well, and developing that a relationship with the creator, with source, with the universe, whatever you like. I usually like to say the universe.
Yeah.
So whatever you like to say, it's all about developing that trust and certainty in the universe. And so what I want to teach people, because this is something that's really been profound for me, especially recently, because finance is a huge thing for people. And I realized that I've actually spent the majority. I was having a session with my kinesiologist the other week, and I said to her, I was like, I cannot believe, but it's just hit me that I just spend the majority of my life in a state of anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly stressed and worried. And I think all of us are, because there's so much pressure on us all the time. It doesn't matter whether you're a mum or a dad, or whether you work full time or work part time, or what you do, we are all under constant stress and pressure. So what I love about what I've been learning recently is just about how to surrender to the universe and trust that the universe is going to provide for you no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can have, like you said, you can have a nice house, a nice car, and all of that kind of stuff. That's not what it's about. What it's about is just letting go, because the ego wants to be in control all the time and wants to know what's going to happen and where the money is coming from and all of that. But if you can just move past the ego and just relax into and trusting that you are going to be provided for no matter what, oh my God, the peace.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my gosh, it just helps so much. And I've just decided, like, I just don't want to live like that anymore. I'm just so
No.
sick.
And I've had my money stolen. I've had so much stolen from me, and I'm still
Oh,
maintaining every month, and I've learned a
exactly.
lot of lessons through that as well. And I
Mhm.
think that refinement is what happens. And you have to, so many people, again, you have to be able to work. We didn't come here. I see all these people, especially in certain communities, that think that we're just not supposed to have anything bad happen to us. And when I hear that,
Well,
I think, how spiritually dumb are you? Like, that's dumb. Like, I hate to, I mean, Lou calls us dumb dumbs a lot. Like, you came here for the ride. When we have things happen to us, that's where we gain that wisdom and that spark of life. And we start to learn, like, I've had everything taken from me. But like
I know.
Allison Mack, I'm still Bryce. I'm still here. And so
Mhm.
what's that soul? And I've learned that I can go without a lot of things and still be totally happy. Being at peace doesn't mean that everything in your life is perfect. Being at peace
No.
means that you're maintaining peace when everything is chaos.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. It's about staying in that mindset where you know that you're okay no matter what is happening to you, because it's just, and learning how to stop reacting to situations and to learn how to respond instead.
Because your thoughts are not you. Your thoughts are not. Your thoughts are not. That's the Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That's the second sutra, the first pada, basically right at the very beginning. Patanjali's like, stop believing everything you think. And think about that, Paul, like we talk about, even when we get into the woo stuff like channeling. We know that 99% of people who say they're channeling aren't. It's their imagination, because they don't know how to separate their mind from them. And that's
because
why
you've got to do the work of
yes,
breaking down your ego.
to know what's to have that discernment. And so people get very offended. Like, I'm not a big fan of trance channeling. I think most trance channeling is bullshit. I think it's people's egos and their imagination wanting to be special. And especially when I look at the person and I can tell they don't work out. Like, what do you mean? Because that's where you first start to realize, like, that's the simplest. Like, when you're on a run, like people who've done like long runs, I know you've done, and you feel your mind yelling at you, but you keep going. That's when you start to learn, oh, I'm not these thoughts. There's something else inside. This is just an organ that's doing what it does.
Chatter.
The brain's going to brain. The heart's going to heart. The lungs are going to lung. The body's going to body. The Lizzies are going to Lizzie. It's just doing what it does. The bad guys are going to bad guy. But your soul is something totally different. It's that silent watcher. It's like when people get, I say all the time, and we're talking about letting go, like the roller coaster ride. Like, that's what your life is. You bought a ticket, you got in the roller coaster ride, you buckled up, you start going on the ride, and when that cart goes upside down, how many people hug the seat when they go upside down? But if you just let your arms go and enjoy the ride, even in the scary parts, you're going to stay in the seat. But you're not the seat, are you? You're not the ride. You're the person in the seat. So your soul is in the body watching everything happen. So if that makes sense. And that's what you have to learn before you can start to get into these heavier, working with consciousness, basically, so that you're responsible and you're not causing harm to yourself or others, because you understand. I mean, for better or for worse, look at Mr. T. He's super rich and he's been able to provide for people and help people. 50 Cent, but able to provide. But then you see the opposite, like the McDonoughs of the world that use it to harness more power for themselves. The Epsteins, all like, so it's so cool. I'm so glad you're doing that. So it gives you that that power for the student to understand the potential for both, because whether good and bad, like we learned this in yoga, like when we say karma, like good karma or bad karma itself is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It's just action and reaction. We put those labels on of good or bad. So if you do bad things that affect others, that's what's going to happen. It's going to affect others, right? It's people say that's not fair. Well, that's not what we didn't come down here for fair.
No, we didn't sign up for that.
No.
And that's been a big learning lesson too, because in the new age fake spirituality world, you kind of made to believe that things are very different than what they actually are. No, but we need simple. Those challenges. Yeah.
Yes, it's very simple. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Just having to deal with it.
Yeah.
But we do need those challenges. We need an enemy to fight against. I mean, there's so many stories of people fighting against the darkness. And then what happens from that? They become somebody completely different. But if you don't have that challenge to break you down, I've gone through I've gone through some pretty full-on stuff in my life. And, just not last year, the year before was probably one of the toughest years of my life, where I just basically just broke down and just felt like I was just basically doing just basic tasks each day, because I just felt like my whole life had just completely fallen apart. But from that, look how I've rebuilt myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I connected with you, and now I've got a YouTube channel, and I'm doing Fusion Body Studio with you. And like, we need to have those moments. And I think so many of us are so afraid of them. We're afraid of feeling the pain and having bad things happen. But that's where the magic happens. I mean, as sad as it is, sometimes when people get, I don't know if we can use the C word on our channel or not.
CANCER, the big C.
Yeah. But, you know, sometimes it takes somebody to get that, and their whole life completely changes. And then the whole family realizes, wow, life is so important. We need to be present. We need to be here. We need to make the most of this, because you could lose somebody the next day, you know?
Yeah. And
So-
life is short. Life is short, and it's supposed to be short, right? We're not supposed to be here for 500 years. It's not how, never were we supposed to be. We're supposed to dip in and out because our soul is on that journey. And I think religion is responsible for confusing people about this too. Like, we look at the resurrection story. It's not about your physical body resurrecting. If you want to retain a life in your physical body you're in now, that is walking away from the plan of God, because your soul is not your body. Your soul is going to continue going. Like we talked about with Lou the other day, Paula, about like people worshiping and venerating these past historical figures is actually causing harm, because that soul, like Mary Magdalene is dead. What's living is the soul. And the soul is not, the soul has come back many times into many different bodies.
Yeah.
So we can't keep pulling up this past fantasy or delusion that we have, you know, that we've all had. We got to leave that soul alone. You know, like, you're the only thing that's going to save you is your own soul, not another person's soul. And the more we cling outside of ourselves for salvation, the further we get from salvation.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to go within. But when it, you know, from my understanding of what I've learned about the whole resurrection process, is that it's actually an initiation.
Well, that's, my friend Cindy talks about this. Like, people, how many people, Paula, are so sorry guys, my nose is really itching, and usually when it's true, that's when the nose starts itching. How many people are obsessed with their upper chakras? They want to open their third eye, but they never talk about their lower chakras.
No.
Your lower chakras are where it's freaking interesting, because that's your humanity. Muladhara to Manipura, those 3 chakras, red, orange, yellow, that's your humanity. Your creativity. Where do you guys think your creativity energy point is? It's not up here.
No, it's your solar plexus.
It's like right here. Because when we're a soul, we don't experience death. But when we're in a body, we do. And you can only understand life if you understand death. So you can only create if you understand death. So this shit, as my teacher would say, don't want this. That's what we want, because that's where your humanity is. And so many people, sorry guys, my nose is really itching. So many people are so obsessed with their third eye, but yet they have a weak core. And it's like,
yeah. I mean, I was one of those. I was always focusing on my third eye all the time. And then it's because of you and your teachings at Fusion Body Studio, I've learned that we need to be focusing down here.
When people focus on this, it's because they're trying to escape their life. They're trying to disassociate from their life. If you disassociate, the life's not going to go away. Ignoring something isn't going to make it go away. You're just going to have to come back and do it again. So might as well get into the thick of that descending into hell, into your humanity, in order to then like resurrect again.
But from a strong foundation.
From a strong foundation. So that just goes back to the Kabbalah, right? So that you're able to have discernment with this. Have discernment with this. Have discernment with this. Have discernment with this. Yeah?
And you can't if you haven't built that strong foundation, and if you haven't broken down your ego.
No, I mean, anahata, the heart, like, how many people think they have to be a doormat in order to show love? No.
Yeah.
You have to have a strong heart so that you can put boundaries up, but also show love. Yeah. That comes from a strong core. So, yeah. But I know we can go on forever about this, Paula, but do we want to kind of transfer over? Join us on Fusion Body Studios if you want to experience. And Todd's, we're going to put a little bit of Todd's talk at the end about meditation too. So, but what do we want to do? We want to talk about tips for the holidays?
Yes, so because we're coming up to the Christmas holidays and there's going to be lots of yummy food to eat and alcohol and catching up and parties and all of that kind of stuff, we just kind of wanted to go through some tips to kind of help everybody stay fit and healthy during the holidays. So yeah, so our first one is oh sorry, you go.
Before we get into it, can I just answer a question you actually had on the conference that Todd told me about?
Yes.
Mothers, about mothers
Oh
maintaining,
yes.
and I'm not a mom, but I've been around a lot of mothers, and Todd and I talked
Yeah.
about it for a long time. Now,
Well, you're a fur baby mum.
I'm a fur baby, but I don't have to go wipe butts in the middle of the night, I don't have to do school pickup. So I just have to chase around Ravi with a sock in his mouth. But so I wanted to tell, so we talk about a lot with exercise staying on a schedule.
Yes.
And I pretty much stay on a schedule. However, when you're a mom or a dad and you're a primary caregiver, especially when your children are really young, your schedule might be a little bit more sporadic with your workouts.
Mhm.
Some days you might be doing it in the morning, some days you might be doing it at lunch, some days you might be doing it in the afternoon. And that's perfectly okay for this phase of your life. In India, when we go to India, now Mysore class in the United States or other countries, you have from like 5:30 to 8:30, you can come in at any point. But when you're in India, you're given a specific call time because there's so many people. So you're
Right.
either starting at 3 o'clock in the morning. He teaches from 3 o'clock in the morning all the way to 11 a.m. in the morning. And at some point you're given a call time to come in. Most people
Uh-huh.
are to start their practice. And it usually depends on like where you are in your practice. Like I always get put in the earliest slot because the more advanced students get put up there because he comes in a little late so we can start our practice. We're more responsible. The beginners
Right.
usually get put at the end. But there's an exception to that. Mothers and fathers. So if a mother comes or a father comes to India and their kids with them, Shurat gives them open call. So that means that the parent can come in at any point to practice
Oh wow.
because he knows that they're not, he's a parent himself. That one morning their kid might be throwing a temper tantrum
Yeah.
and it's going to make the mom late. And so he gives parents open calls. And what he does is when you get to the shala, you have to sit in the lobby and wait to be called in. But if a mother or father comes in, he'll occasionally peep his head out to see in the lobby. And if he sees someone who he knows is a parent, he has them skip the line to come on in and start their practice because of their kid. So there's even flexibility with parents. The most important thing is that you're getting your work in every day. Doesn't matter if that's, and for some parents, they like to come in first thing in the morning when their kids are still asleep. They have a nanny that comes and sits with the kid. They come practice. And therefore, when they're done with practice is right when their kid's waking up so they can make their kid breakfast. A lot of kids are enrolled in school, and so they can walk their kids to school. So for parents, for mothers, for fathers, especially when your kids are itty bitties, your practice schedule might be more sporadic for a few years. Now, you can also, in some yoga studios and some yoga classes, I don't know why we've had crazy winds from Canada. And so I was telling, my eyes are swollen from being outside yesterday. That might be part of it too. But for itty bitties too, a lot of times you can, if you find a class, like a yoga class you like, you can bring your kids. A lot of teachers will let you bring your kids and let the kids like color. I let kids come in and they sometimes just color in the back of the room while the practice is going on. I had a student in Mysore, a single mom, who would bring her son every morning in the early morning hours and she would make him a little bed in the back of the Mysore room. And he would sleep while so there's things to work around it. So I know you had that question, Paula. Is there anything you want to add to that before we move on?
Yeah, because I think just being a mum, I think my biggest issue is just feeling just fatigued a lot of the time and just drained. And I think because there's just so much giving all the time. And I think that's probably also like a personal boundary thing that I need to learn to
here's the thing too, and this has taken Todd some time to figure this out, I will admit, because Todd can be lazy sometimes. Energy and motion stays in motion. A body emotion stays in motion. So sometimes,
and so I think sorry, no, you go, Bryce.
I think sometimes if you feel fatigued and you give into that fatigue and you keep giving into that fatigue and keep it, just all of a sudden you're just lazy.
Worse.
Sometimes you just have to get up One of my
and
favorite
just
slogans is the Nike, just do it. Sometimes you just have
just
to
do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
100%. 100%, and that's what I'm really realizing. And I think sometimes they're just excuses, and it's just my ego just talking myself out of it. But I'm one of those. I prefer to get my workout done first thing in the morning. So I will literally, my alarm goes off at like 4:30 in the morning, and I'll just kind of take like a little bit to kind of wake up. I like to do some tapping, because tapping is a really great way to kind of release a lot of emotions from the body in because you're tapping on the different kind of points. I've just forgotten what they're called. What are
Meridians.
the Yes, meridians, that's it. Just tapping on the different meridians on your body, and focusing on whatever the issue is and helping to clear that up. So I find that's a good way to help me kind of wake up. And then I get up and I like to do one of your workouts. Like this morning, I was practicing the sun salutations, and then I was doing some. I've got a few dumbbells, and because I really want to strengthen my upper body, so I'm just kind of working on that at the moment. And I do all of that while Scarlett's still asleep in bed. And that just works the best for me, because then she starts to wake up as I'm finishing off, and then we get up together and we go have breakfast, and it works out perfect for me.
Yeah.
Because I find if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, trying to get it done later on in the day is just too hectic
It's
for me.
hard. Yeah. And that's just, every parent's going to be different. But yeah,
Yep.
watch the lazy, the fatigue, because I feel fatigue all the time, you guys. Like, I'm constantly trying to talk myself out of it, but I know I let that voice happen and I go, thanks for your input, but we're going to be fine. The hardest part of a workout is the beginning, the first 7 to 10 minutes. Once you're in it, though, you're in it.
Once you get into it, you get into that flow, and then you start to move, and it feels good. Yeah.
And then next thing you know, the hour's done. Your hour's done, and you're, so, all right. Well, if any parents have any more questions about that, let me know. And I mean, Todd even we have students that come into Mysore who will, it's so funny, they'll leave their kids just sleeping at their house. Some of their kids don't even know that their mom's gone. And we let those parents have their cell phone by their mat just in case. So, so a lot of teachers will work with parents on that. And so yeah. All right. So shall we get into the holiday tips, Paula?
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to apologize.
I know, I feel so bad for you.
I feel fine. I was telling Paula we got hit with ferocious winds because Canada had a vortex, and I went to walk yesterday to drop books off in a free library. I don't know if you can see my eyes. Like, they were watering so bad from the wind, and this morning it's just all coming. So I apologize. I know it's so gross, but I'm going to mute myself while I blow my nose, and I'll let you get started with the tips, Paula.
Oh, you poor thing. I feel so bad for you. But yeah, so the first one that we wanted to share with you guys is just basically the holiday reality check. And that's basically just reminding everyone that, there is no perfection. And, Christmas is something that only happens once a year. Thanksgiving only happens once a year. We want to enjoy those times, and basically just really enjoy the good food, but just doing it in moderation. I think that's the problem, is sometimes I never like eating till I'm so full, because I actually just personally find that really uncomfortable. I personally like to just, like, I don't really worry too much. Like, I'll dish up dessert, and I'll dish up all, like creamy potato bacon, things like that, because I enjoy food. I eat real butter, and I drink.
Well, real butter's the best for you.
Exactly. I don't like the processed. I like to eat traditional Greek style yogurt, and I like to have, with no flavoring added. I like to add like cinnamon. Sometimes I'll add some honey, with berries and things like that, nuts and seeds. I love, like, that's delicious. So I'm very much about having the real food, not the processed food, but having it all in moderation, and enjoying the good things. Like you say, for Thanksgiving, you're going to have the pineapple casserole, because it's
you came here to be human. Somebody asked someone the comments under our Lou, like monks have it wrong. Yeah, monks have it wrong, 100%.
Yeah.
And I've known that. We talk about that in yoga. I've known that. Your job isn't to cut yourself off from the world. Monks have it totally wrong. They need to be in the world. You need to be living your life in your culture. You came here to be, I'm an American. My soul chose to be an American this life. So Thanksgiving is a part of that lesson. And so you need to celebrate with your family and your friends. And there's so many people that adapt to spiritual practice and they shut the rest of the world off. You're doing it wrong if that's what you're doing. You know, your practice is supposed to support your life. Now, what I will add to that, Paula, and this might be the more you get to know your body, the more you're going to learn what exercise really help you with food digestion. And so for me, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I always up my cardio because cardio really helps with my digestion. And so I'm doing that intentionally. We have the Alchemy of Movement workshop where we talk about the different movements and what they do for the body. So if you figure out what work, physical work helps you with digestion, do more of that in this time period so that you can enjoy
the food
and
get it moving through your body. I also want to add in, so I'm just totally in love with castor oil now, thanks to you. Castor oil is amazing, and literally every night I go to sleep, I'll wash my face and I just literally just put castor oil on my face and my neck. And because I had tonsillitis last week, and I actually think that because I was putting castor oil on my neck every night, I actually really think it healed so much quicker because I was doing that. But you can put just a few drops in your belly button when you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning and then you can go to the toilet quite easily because it really helps doing that. Another thing I just want to share is massaging. So just massaging your own body is actually, so sometimes if I've got enough time after I've done my workout and then my meditation, if Scarlett's still asleep, I'll actually just give myself like just a quick over body massage before I have my shower and I find when I do that on a regular basis, that helps my body with the digestion so much, really helps to flush it out of your body. So that's another little, it only takes 5-10 minutes. You don't have to do it for
always twist right first instead of left, because that's your ascending colon. If you twist left first, you're going to constipate yourself. So always twist right first. The way we set up yoga asanas, we're doing it looking at the vital organs in the system, the liver, the kidneys, the colon. So trust what a teacher is telling you to do in the manner in which you're telling you to do it, because that's helping your body work its natural pathways. I also like this quick doable movements you have here, Paula. Now 10 to 20 minute workouts. I would say 20 to 30 minute workouts. 10-minute workouts are not going to do shit for you.
No.
They're not going to. You have to bring your body to a certain point. So 20, and we have some 20-minute workouts on our platform. I'll only ever do minimum 20 minutes for people because otherwise there's really no point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But the 20-minute one is one that you do your stretching, your own stretching afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah. So that kind of moves you into that 30-minute mark.
Yes. And I love this fun ideas, holiday themes, walking challenges, dancing while cooking. So the end of workout class that I'm going to be filming for everybody is going to have a bunch of Christmas music in it. And some bad Christmas music too. We've got some F-bombs that are in that playlist. So we've got some gangster, we got some 50 Cent in there. We've got, so it makes it fun. It makes it enjoyable for you to this time of year.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to enjoy it all, enjoy the process, enjoy the exercise as much as you can.
Yes. I'm looking at what else, what other things do you want to talk about?
This one here about choosing worth it foods. So choosing like your intentional indulgence. So basically kind of just thinking about which foods that you love the most. Like for you, maybe on Thanksgiving, it might be the pineapple casserole.
Yeah.
So you might so for me, it's like, pecan pie. I've got an American friend and she makes the most amazing. Today we had a little picnic for our kindy class and she'd made this delicious pecan slice, and I'm just
have pecan pie in Australia?
We do have it like at little coffee shops and things like that, but it's not really, really big,
It's huge here. That's a huge pie. Yeah.
And
pecan pie.
she makes it from scratch because she's amazing. And yeah, it's just so delicious. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to skip something else and I'm going to have 2 lots of the pecan pie.
Do you know what? I've done this since I was a little kid. Do you know what I do when I have pecan pie? I scratch all the pecans off and I
Uh-huh.
just eat the sugary stuff.
The syrupy stuff.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you a
it's
funny.
so good.
Some people say it pecan pie, and my dad
Um,
used to say, "Do you pee in a con or do you pee in a can?" So that's why we say pecan pie. But chess pie, I love chess pie. That's one of my favorites. It's a big
oh,
holiday
what's chess
dish.
pie?
Let me pull it up for you.
I
It's
tried pumpkin pie for the first time.
I'm not a fan of
Um,
pumpkin pie.
yeah, it wasn't, amazing. But it was interesting to try it. Oh,
So chess
okay. It
pie
looks
is a
like a
classic
custard.
Southern, a custard pie with rich, sweet feeling made from simple
Ah,
ingredients like sugar, eggs, butter, cornmeal, often flavored with vanilla or lemon. I prefer the vanilla, but lemon is also pretty good.
yeah.
Very
So
Southern.
over here we call that a custard tart.
It's not, it's
So
not, it's not tarty for us. It's not,
no,
there's no
no.
tart
So
to it.
a custard tart is literally just like it's just got the base, and then it's just got thick custard, like a really thick
Yeah,
base.
yeah. It's sweet. It's very sweet. Lemon might
Yes.
be a little bit kind of have that tanginess to it, but I prefer the vanilla. Um,
Mhm.
but that's my favorite. And we only really get some people do a key lime chess pie.
Oh yes, yeah, I like key lime.
And so that's my favorite dessert of
Hmm.
all desserts is chess pie. So I will always look for the chess pie. Some people call them buttermilk pies. So
Oh yeah.
so yeah, so find what you enjoy because again, as you're saying, we only do this once or twice a year. This is not
Hmm.
something that you're doing every week. It's a special
No,
occasion.
yeah, and you wouldn't want to be doing it every week
No, you
because
get tired of these foods. They
you
would stop being
do.
special.
That, yeah, exactly. And that's, this is one thing, like I get frustrated with society. I'm just thinking here of kids and toys. But, so they've got all these toys that you want to have, and they've got all these collections. So there's like 10 to collect. And it would always frustrate me because I'm like, it's not special when you have 10 of something. It's
Yeah.
only special when you have one of something, one special doll. Like I had a one baby born doll when I was growing up, and she was everything to me because, I only had one of her, but it's just, yeah. And so that's how you got to kind of think about it. It's these foods are special because you're only having them, once or
Twice a
twice a
year.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah. And,
absolutely.
and make the most of it, but don't eat to the point where you get sick because I hate that feeling. That's awful. Also, I just want to add in just with the whole digestion thing. This might sound a little bit weird to some people, but I love linseeds or flax seeds. They might be called over in America. And also like chia seeds. And I find I just love adding a teaspoon of them to salads, to cereal. Like, well, I don't eat cereal, but porridge. Like if I have porridge, I'll add some to that. Just all kinds of different foods I'll eat. I like to just add that. And when I add that in, I find that really helps with the digestion. Or also, like if you can get an LSA mix, which is linseeds, sunflower seeds, and almonds, and they've been grounded up together into like a powder, and you just
Yeah.
add like a teaspoon or two of that to whatever you're eating, like soups and anything. And I find that just helps so much with digestion because I'm somebody that struggled with constipation
Me
a
too.
lot. Yeah,
Me
so
too. I actually have to, mine is so bad. I have to use specific herbs that I take to help me.
right, right,
So, and I know I have to double up sometimes in the holidays, and that's okay. That's okay.
yeah. Mhm.
So it's totally fine. I like this stress and family dynamic, sneaky eating triggers.
Yeah.
What the Ram Dass said,
So,
you think you're so enlightened, go spend a week with your family?
oh my goodness, I know it does and a lot of family arguments can happen. Certain families, they just get really touchy at Christmas time and they can end up arguing. So yeah, so just kind of making sure that you're not dealing with those emotions through
Go
eating.
for a run.
Yeah, go for a run, take your dog for a walk,
Yeah.
take your little
Don't talk about
3-year-old to the
politics
park.
at the don't talk about conspiracy theories, anything like that at the
Yeah.
dinner table. Just do you want to be I'm actually not a fan of Eckhart Tolle at all, but there is one thing he has said that I actually really like, and it's do you want to be right or do you want to have peace?
Yeah, I love that. I
Some
love that.
some arguments are not worth having.
I like to say all the time, pick your battles.
Yeah, pick your battles.
And
It's just
when you've got a 6-year-old, you're going to pick your battles because I'm not going to argue with her about what shoes she wants to wear or what outfit she's going to wear, but I am going to argue with her about brushing her teeth. So you just got to pick your battles.
yeah.
And do that with your family, you know? Yeah, like you said, don't bring up those topics that are touchy subjects for people. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to enjoy your time together.
I actually like the last one too, the post-holiday reset tips. Listen, guys, like this is what I'm saying. Christmas Day, if you can, do a workout in the morning if you can. But the 26th of December, after you've had all that crappy food to eat, rest. Just rest. Let yourself have a food hangover. You can get back to it on the 27th.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Paula, in that list? We can actually maybe even put the list in the.
Yeah, I was actually thinking we should include this either in the description or we could even just I can make it into like a PDF that people can just grab off the website as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that would really help to for people just to kind of have this to refer back to remember.
And don't stress, enjoy it. Enjoy the holiday parties, enjoy everything. Unless you get hit by a vortex from Canada and all of a sudden your nose and your eyes start watering like crazy on camera because we're going to blame Canada for this situation this morning. I apologize, guys. We're filming this on Monday the 15th, and yesterday the 14th, we got hit so hard I was telling Paula, with a vortex from Canada. Wind was crazy, and it just hold on, I gotta blow my nose again. It just really kicked up my sinuses. So is there anything in closing you want to say, Paula, was anything you learned from Todd's conversation before we close out with part of his conversation?
Oh man, I loved the conference call with Todd. I think I probably did most of the talking, asking the questions, but it was so helpful, and I really loved starting off with the meditation. That was really helpful because, like I've said to you off camera, that sitting meditation just never really resonated with me.
It's not real. Seated meditation is bullshit. It was controlled opposition. As Lou has said that, and we know that in yoga too. Like, who does seated meditation? Like, you go to India, they're not doing seated meditation.
Yeah,
they're doing yoga asana.
But we over here, we think that that's what people are doing because that's
the powers that be want to get you to disassociate from your body. The powers that be want you to have to read, as Lou said, some people have done third density 20 times. That's at 1.5 million years on this planet. That's the math, because every cycle is 75,000 years. And it's because you're doing shit like seated meditation. And you're disassociating and you're going off into the clouds, into la la land, thinking you're some ascended master, thinking you're some reincarnated being, when you're actually who you are now. And that's what you need to focus. It's so simple. Just be who you are, live your life, know that your soul is not your body, but your body is a tool, a vessel, a Shakti of your soul learning experience. And that's that. That's that. And then you move forward into the next existence. So he talked all about that. Like, he's made many mistakes with seated meditation in his life too. He talked about that.
Yes.
He was led to believe that's what it was, and it's not. No, my teacher in India, his teacher, multiple teachers in India will tell you, do not do seated meditation. What are you doing? Incorrect. That's not real. That's not how this started. It all started with movement. You can't think yourself into awakening. You can't think yourself into enlightenment. You can't think yourself into awareness. You have to move yourself into that place.
Yeah.
Because stagnant energy is death.
And that's a huge shift in mindset for us in the Western world, because we've been led to believe that meditation is completely different. It's all about sitting still and quietening the mind. So to know that you can reach that through movement is
the only way. You can't reach it through sitting down. You can only reach delusion, Maya.
Yeah.
through sitting down. It's so funny. I years ago, I had somebody bring me on their channel. And I kept asking, well, what do you want to talk about? What do you want? They kind of put me off for a while, but we had this date scheduled. And that morning he sent me an email and he was like, in meditation this morning, I just felt like we should talk about blood types. And I wanted so badly to respond back and be like, oh, so you want to talk about blood types? Like, don't use meditation as an excuse. That was your mind told you that's what you didn't get that in meditation. You're being delusional if you think you're having some God, some being speak to you. No. That's delusional. Your mind, you want to talk about blood types. So it's like, if that makes sense. So like, don't be that person. Don't be that wackadoo out there person that's so far. Nobody's in the fifth dimension. No one's in the fifth dimension. If someone tells you they're in the fifth dimension, that's called gaslighting. Because they're right here in front of you. We're all here together. This is third density. No, that is the definition of gaslighting. Like, because Paula, like, you're seeing me here with you in third density, but if I'm saying, no, I'm in the fifth dimension, like, what you're seeing, what I'm telling you.
I wouldn't see you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fall for that bullshit, guys. We're all human beings. We're all moving ourselves through this incarnation and hopefully not having to repeat it again, because bless people's hearts. Some people have had to do this 20 fucking times, and because they just can't get out of their own way. And so, anyway, our hope is to help people get through with this so we can move on out of here. And with that being said, you guys, we hope you enjoy this snippet from our latest conference with KPJAYI Master Authorized Teacher Todd Roderick, who is also the founder and the director of Ashtanga Yoga Atlanta, Atlanta's oldest traditional yoga shala.
All right, cool. Hey, everyone.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
Good. Bryce and I talked about how I should start. And so I was just going to go through what meditation really is. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you all hear me fine? Right. I'm a soft speaker. And unless I'm in an argument with someone, and then I could speak pretty loud. But normally I'm just a soft speaker, so hopefully you can hear me just fine. If not, please let me know. So I used to have the misconception for many years what it meant to meditate, even though through all my experience with Patabi Joyce teaching me in India what it meant to meditate through the practice of Ashtanga yoga, it still took me many, many years to realize what it truly was. And so I used to do a lot of quote unquote seated meditation. I used to sit and meditate sometimes for 4 hours a day. And this is on the top of my Ashtanga practice. And I used to go off on silent retreats for, 10 days, 2 weeks at a time, and meditate for upwards of 12 hours a day. And I realized over doing that for many years what it was, the negative impact of it. And through talking to Lou, I've come to realize like what was really happening there. Eventually, over many years of doing this intense, contrived meditation, I realized the negative impacts of what it was doing to me, and it was allowing me to excuse things that were going on in my life that I would normally not excuse, because what I didn't understand is that it was just a form of disassociation. And so there's all these books and writings about and teachings about meditation, Vipassana meditation, Buddhist forms of meditation, so on and so forth. Many different techniques, japa meditation, stuff like that. And they're just refined forms of disassociation. And the true true meditation comes about spontaneously, not because we've set aside time to sit down in silence. That would be contrived meditation, which is really labeled correctly, would be dissociation. Yeah. True meditation is found in an environment where it can happen spontaneously. And that is why exercise is important. And I look back, and it's why my teacher, Pattabhi Jois, never talked about seated meditation. And even though I was studying with him for a long period of time, I had this misunderstanding that yoga, the yoga that I was doing, was opening up my structural system so I can more easily sit in a meditative posture, cross my legs in lotus and close my eyes, and be able to completely relax my body, because through yoga, your structural system would be realigned to allow you opening up your hips, strengthening the muscles around your spine, so on and so forth. So you could sit in that cross-legged position and, in a sense, disassociate from your body. And so, even though through all these years of practicing Pattabhi Jois, I still held this misconception. And I should have paid more attention to what Pattabhi Jois was not telling us, in a sense. He was never telling us, oh, you need to sit and meditate. He would just say, practice, practice, practice. Yeah, and then meditation will come. And so now looking back, I realized what my misunderstanding was. We were given the tools. The Tristana method is what they call it. The tools to be able to meditate properly, and that would be the Tristana method I explained just recently, which would be breathing and the focus of your eyes, which is dristi, and then paying attention to your experience, physical, mental, and emotional experience while you're in the pose or while you're in whatever form of exercise that you're engaging in. And through the Tristana method, you're creating the environment where meditation can truly take place. Yeah. And so in the Yoga Sutras, they talk about the after the first two limbs, yama and niyama, it says asana and pranayama. So the asana would be the exercise, whether it be yoga or bar or whatever, jogging, running. And then the pranayama would come about, for most, would come about naturally through that exercise. So your breathing changes. So it's basically saying you take posture, you take asana, whether it be yoga or any other form of exercise, and then pranayama comes about. Your breathing changes, your heart rate changes, your breathing changes, yeah, and then that leads you on the path of true meditation, which after some time, it usually takes us some time within that state of asana and pranayama to eventually reach our limit, almost our limit. So it's like within that exercising that you're doing, you're working your system to the point where you almost feel overwhelmed, and you're watching your body's response to that, and then you just keep pushing through. And then when you think that you couldn't go anymore, you hit the meditation, and then you're in it. And then all the other limbs happen on their own. Yeah, the pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and then samadhi happens within you engaging in the exercise. And so we would think, not understanding the Yoga Sutras, not understanding what meditation truly means, you would think, oh, well, I have to practice a bunch of asana, and then I have to work on my breathing technique, and then I've got to sit and meditate, and then maybe the other things would unfold on its own. And that's not the case. It's more simple than that. Yeah. And so I just wanted to share that with you, my own misconceptions and how far I took that. Yeah, because it was many years of intense meditation, and luckily I sort of woke up on that on my own, because I think that I went in so deep and so intensely, with that I just eventually just like threw up my arms. It was just like, no, this isn't right. To get dull, have half of your system and mind sort of doled out, and then the other part overly sensitive. Yeah, because when you do that much dissociation, meditation, dissociation, there's this flip that happens. You're very aware of your internal landscape, but you accept external situations that you wouldn't normally accept because you're so numb. Yeah. And so, yeah. Any questions?
So because like I've heard that lots of people can have incredible spiritual experiences from like going to like an ashram and not talking for, days on end.
Yeah.
So is that sometimes delusional, or is it beneficial?
I mean, you can have some incredible experiences by relieving a bunch of stress. I think that people go to these ashrams, they go on these silent retreats, and they unplug, and all of a sudden, like, they're just de-stressing. You get really sleepy, yeah, and then you get this extra rest, and then you're stepping away from your hectic life, and you're getting away from some toxic family and friends and work environment, and so I think people are feeling some relief, some much needed relief, and so that's an experience in and of itself. Yeah, and then I've had experiences that I thought were extremely profound. There was one time that I was meditating, and I was just like, the experience of like just being stretched out of my body and feeling like that I was just pulled up beyond the earth and just like floating there, and I was even like seeing like being pulled through like clouds and sky, and it was an extremely blissful experience. Like I felt like I was levitating, and it left me like in this state for like 2 weeks after I had that experience. It brought tears to my eyes. It was something I thought was like, wow, this is what they're talking about. This is like samadhi, and it completely screwed up my meditation for months. Like I would feel it coming on again, and I would get anxious, and I would be like grasping for it, like, oh my God, I feel like this is about to happen again. Like, did I unlock something? And Lou told me that if I kept going, that Lou was the one who like kept me from doing that again, because they were basically going to steal me. Like I had literally left my body, and they were gonna put someone else in it. And so,
oh my God.
Yeah.
See, this is one thing I've been meaning to ask you, Todd.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of talk out there about people leaving their bodies and doing it at will.
Yeah.
And having like, OBEs, out of body experiences, and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to know, because part of me is just absolutely terrified of it, because what if somebody does do that? Like, what if a spirit comes into your body while you're out?
And they can.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole topic that we got into about that, and I mean, I don't know if you want me to get into all of that. Jenny, are you have you been listening to the Lou stuff? Are you aware of what we're doing with
Yes.
Lou? Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Okay. So I can go into that. Okay.
For more information on Lou, please see the YouTube channel The Confused Wanderer with Todd Roderick.
So
is Earth always going to be in like third density, or whatever we're in
See,
right
that's
now.
what you're, that's, no, see, that's where the whole time, no time thing gets. We're not even allowed to go into that sort of stuff. Will
Okay.
Earth always be third density? Like, supposedly, from what I understand, Earth was supposed to move into fourth density service to others when the American Constitution was made. When that document was made, that should have been the beginning. So we've been held up from going into fourth density because of everything that's happened after that. Lou says that our Constitution, the only thing that makes Earth special is that our Constitution for the United States is the best representation of fourth density service to others in the whole universe. He said that's the blueprint everyone wants. And that's why there has been such a battle to not allow fourth density to start on Earth, because that threatens the service to self side so much, because that's the blueprint. He said that changed everything. And that's why there's this like battle happening for America right now. And that really, like, everyone, all the other countries want to establish the same constitution. And then, but after the Constitution, all of these like wars and things like that have happened back to back is what's holding us back. Like, that should have caused world peace, like, right away, and we should have just flipped right in. So since then, we've been held back from it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to go from there. I'm like processing. Oh my God.
Yeah, but
so we are meant to still move into the 4D positive, though.
Yeah,
if we're meant to. Right.
And is it when I was, following Bryce, whatever, a few months ago, when you guys were still going through the Cassiopeans, and Laura's talking about how, and we began reading in the academy, the Wave book. We started it, and it was, and of course they talk about something coming to Earth from the outside.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, so there's
That's
what I was really wondering.
Yeah, no, there's no wave
is coming from space and hitting our planet.
That's not how it works, and it's cool that you brought that up, because Lou said, well, that's it. That's Prakriti. That's time. If there's a wave coming, like that you're talking about time. This is what's happening is beyond time. You could say we're already, and see, we don't want to get here because we're already there,
But
we've already merged with the Creator. If you really want to get down to it, everything outside of that is Prakriti. We're still the illusion goes all the way up until you finally merge back with the Creator, I guess. Yeah. And did you all hear about that there's no such thing as infinity? Because that's a cool thing. There's no such thing as an infinite creator. It's a finite creator. There's no such thing as the infinite universe. It's a finite universe. There's no such thing as infinite abundance. I just got called out. I just got scolded the other day about that. Because I said something about, we have an abundance of water, and Blue said, there's no such thing as abundance.
So can you go deeper into that?
I don't know how. I haven't really gone that deep into it, other than when I make mistakes and say something like that, Lou will immediately jump in and correct that. So you got to think about it this way. So there would be no battle, energetic battle, if there was infinite abundance.
True.
We think that once you move up the line of evolution, once you just go the fourth and the veil is lifted, that all of a sudden, there's infinity and there's this energetic abundance. They're like, no, you only have everyone only has a certain amount of energy. The Creator has split itself and giving everyone their allotted energy. You can choose to give it away, but you can also take it back. So think about all the ways here in third that we give our energy away. We give it our energy through our attention or to our phone, to our friends and family, so you're giving it out and you're thinking, oh, but it's abundant. It'll just come back. Oh, I can just, once I move up in evolution, it's just going to be all abundance. No, it's the same battle to keep, to understand how to manage your allotted amount of energy. Yeah.
And that's what yoga is for. Right?
Like, yeah. Yeah. To learn to hold that energy and to circulate that energy, and to learn to not to give it out through reaction. We're constantly reacting to, throwing our emotions outward and reacting over and over. And that's just, here, take this energy, take that energy. I don't need it because it's abundant. But it's not. And see, that gets back to where false teachings don't have to be these grand things. The negative side can give you 99% positive, 99% truth. But the 1% that you hold on to, the abundance, can screw it all up. Yeah. And so that's why people say, well, how are they able to do what they do if they can't lie through like the channeling and what they get? It's because they only have to take one misconception and just continue it to feed everything else. To just forgive every transgression. Think about it. To forgive everyone that's done wrong to you. No, fuck that. Like, you don't have to forgive these people. You're going to set a boundary because you're not going to forget and you're not going to forgive her. Like I remember what you did. You need to stay away from me, instead of just like, oh, it's all love. Just accept it. Because then when you just forgive, you're just like, oh, here, you could take that energy. It's abundant.
But can you forgive while still setting a boundary?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. But I think, the reason I bring that up is I think that people misunderstand what forgiving is. Yeah. And people think that through because when you forgive too much, you're opening the door for that to happen all over again.
Well, like, for example, my mum, I've never really had the greatest relationship with her. I let her in time and time again. I've got to the point now where I've chosen to not have her in my life anymore.
Right.
So I forgive her because I understand why she is the way that she is, but I'm not allowing her in my life anymore.
Right.
So I feel like I've kind of forgiven her, but I've set a boundary where I'm just not letting her in because she just doesn't change no matter what.
Yeah. But then that's not total forgiveness, is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're still holding on to something there, because that's helping to feed your boundary.
That's acceptance, right?
Yeah. Acceptance. I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Lou about this, because I feel like you start getting into dangerous territory when you're just like, accept and forgive. Because for me, that's gotten me into trouble over and over again with organic portals. Accepting and forgiving, and then you soften up too much and your boundaries soften, and then before you know it, this person's like popped back in and you're like, whoa, how'd you get here? And you start thinking about, oh, well, forgiveness, accepting. Yeah, there should be, I guess, a certain amount of acceptance because bad stuff happens, but then there's got to be a boundary there. And where is that? How do you feed that boundary? And what is it that sets up that boundary? Well, so what is it that sets up the boundary, and what is it that dissolves the boundary? And so I think that with asking those questions, you would have to ask, what is forgiveness and acceptance? It seems that there's got to be some energy put into the boundaries, and so that's where Yeah, and that forgiveness is one of the biggest things Mormons teach, and so then you really have to start questioning, since the Mormonism is a creation of the service to self, Lizzie's, then you start questioning, like, what is this forgiveness? And I mean, and that goes back, I think, to being able to watch your thoughts and your reactions. Like, it's one thing, like, to not forgive to the point to where you're running through all these scenarios in your head of things that's happened to you because of this person, and it's bringing up all of these feelings that could be negative, yeah, and it's causing turmoil in your head. And so maybe it's like it's a management of the amount of acceptance and forgiveness, because total acceptance and forgiveness could dissolve that boundary. And so maybe it's just like you're able to step back and become what they call the sakshi, the witnesser, and you're witnessing the thoughts around what that person has done to you, and then you can more closely regulate the amount of negative energy you're going to put into, like, pushing against that person, and you find just the right spot, and it's like a happy medium of, like, reaction through a boundary, but not so much reaction that it's causing Maya and the wheels to spin and you're putting too much energy. Because I think it's all about management of energy. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but I'm skeptical when it comes down to people saying, oh, you just have to forgive. I think that it's more about you have to forgive a certain amount. I mean, talking to Lou, like, Lou doesn't forgive. Lou, like, goes full in on people. Like, Laura, like, that fucking bitch, like, you go get her. Don't let her, like, they get so upset. You got to see that planchette move when we're in private, and they talk about Laura. Like, they get so you could say, like, we think that, oh, we get into fourth density service to others and it's all love and light. Like, absolutely not. They get so angry. They're like, no, anger is a thing, and it's it's an important tool. You don't just grow out of anger. You don't just mature out of it. It's like it's there and it's useful, and so that's what's informing me on the whole, like, my attitude about forgiveness. It's like if up the line the veil is removed and anger still exists, then where does forgiveness fall on that? Because I would think forgiveness is an absence of anger. And so if anger still exists in the higher realms, then why doesn't the lack of forgiveness okay to exist where we are now? Because I would think that the inability to forgive goes hand in hand with anger towards someone who has slighted you. Yeah. So something to contemplate, and something
I guess they would have to earn it back. Like,
I mean, earn it back. Well, shit. I mean, the people I'm angry at and can't forgive, I don't want them back in my life to earn it back. Like, that's the whole boundary thing. Like, you have proven yourself over and over not to be able to act, with morals and respect and empathy with me. So stay away. It's okay to cut people out. There's people in my life I never want to have anything to do with anymore, and I feel like that sitting with forgiveness is giving them too much. Like, I just want out of sight, out of mind. I don't care if that person even exists anymore.
Well, I always thought forgiveness was for yourself, not for them.
Yes.
That's
Right,
the only reason why I've ever practiced.
And that's what I'm talking about here. It's that forgiveness is for yourself, because you have to manage the amount of energy you're giving to that person inside of your head, because they're not there in front of you. Mm-hmm. Or they could be sometimes, but when you step back, it is for yourself, because you don't want all that turmoil in your head. Yeah. And so you have to reach a certain level of acceptance, and I guess you could call that forgiveness, for your own health. But then when you let it all go, then it seems like there's no more energy to reinforce the boundary that you've set.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah,
it's
so-
more like it's about kind of creating a balance with the forgiveness. Then do you think?
That's the way I take it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I've only ever wanted to practice forgiveness so that I could be at peace and just move on.
Right.
But then I agree with you, Todd. I certainly don't want to lose those boundaries, because otherwise you're just allowing people to keep treating you the same way that they always have.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you have every right to be angry, Lorraine. Every right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so maybe, the best thing to do with that is you're setting boundaries with yourself in regards to, you think of it all as energy management. It's like, it's okay that you take some time and think about the anger that you hold and the frustration you hold for the things that people have done to you, where you've been wronged, but then you don't let it rule your whole life. You put it in its proper place, and you give it this allotted amount of energy that you feel like is appropriate, and then you let it go. And that goes back to the whole Sakshi thing of being able to be non-reactive to the thoughts that are in your head, to be able to enter into a space through exercise, that space of meditation where you can watch your reactive mind fighting it out with these people, having arguments with these people, giving them a piece of your mind, and you have that space for it. But then when you're done, you learn to put it in its proper place. Yeah. And then when you feel like you need to pull it out, you're doing that through choice. It's not controlling you, you're controlling it. Yeah. And so then, you're thinking that if you can't forgive, so we have this concept of like, I should forgive. Oh, you're going through this battle, there's battling these people in your head, and then you're getting shame because it's like, oh, but I'm supposed to forgive, but I'm not forgiving. And so then you're beating yourself up as you're beating them up, and then think about the energy waste there. And so this concept of forgiveness has been thrown on you to think that you're not good enough if you can't. Yeah, right. It's this vicious cycle, and so that's, I feel like that's false teachings, the whole forgiveness thing, because look what it's done to people.
I think maybe it started with good intentions, but then it's just gone the wrong way. Like the whole, law of attraction thing. It's like
Right.
they're only focusing on that one law, and that's one of many universal laws, and it's just been manipulated.
Right. Yeah.
And forgiveness is very convenient for religion,
Right.
and
absolutely. Yeah.
letting them get away with what they've done. Yeah.
Right.
So
yes, and so maybe it's that the forgiveness could have been. I think that once it's like there's been a label put on it, the strong label, without really explaining that it's about energy management, and it's about that. That's what I think it is. If without putting the label of this is forgiveness, and someone came in and actually taught about energy management, it would have been more useful. Say within the realm of you learning to manage your energy through your attention and through reaction to certain things, there's this aspect we could say is on the lines of forgiveness in the realm of energy management. And this is why you would want to learn to process this stuff, but still there's got to be a little bit of a lot of energy, anger or whatever, remembrance, lack of acceptance to be put towards your boundary. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Todd, about what Lou has said to you about increasing your exercise? Because, I feel like as much as I've been trying over the past year, I don't feel like I am doing anywhere near enough. exercise. I've realized like Bryce has taught me so much. I've realized how important it is for spirituality and for healing. But yeah, I understand that you just got to get up and do it every day. I guess I am struggling to be consistent with it. And I don't know if it's because I've got 3 kids that I'm trying to manage on my own and a whole household, or if they're just excuses,
Yeah.
But I was just intrigued that Lou had said to you that you need to do more, even though you already are a yoga teacher. So that was kind of surprising.
I was under the impression that me teaching yoga, it's a major workout for me because I'm very physically active with my students, and, I'm sweating just as much as them as class. I walk over 30,000 steps within a class, just that, and then physically lifting people up from back bends and dropping back and pushing, pulling people. And so I felt like through my teaching and then through the, little 45 minutes I would do outside of teaching, that was good. Lou said I made a big step forward. This is crazy, that I thought I knew this because, I would push myself in, especially when I was younger, push myself what I felt like was my limit within my Ashtanga practice, especially with Patabi Joyce. I'd be shaking, and when I was trying to walk home, I would be so worn out. But Lou was saying that just when Bryce and I went to the mountains recently, that I made this big breakthrough. So Lou has had us do this 10-mile hike, hardest hike I've ever done in my life, and so hard. I mean, Bryce and I could barely finish it, even being as physically fit as we are. But we were like 3/4 of the way done, and everything was cool for the first 3/4. But once we got to that last 2 miles, I was like, oh my God, this is like, I'm at that point where I feel like I don't even know if we're going to be able to get back. But we know it's like 2 miles away. And I was saying out loud, like, this is the most important part. Like, the whole first 3/4 of the hike was nothing. We didn't really get any benefit from that. It's that last quarter that pushes you into meditation. It pushes you into the absolute struggle of like, I don't know if I could do this, but you just keep going. And you don't even question, because you got to get back. There's no turning back, because it would be just as long. It'd be so much more further going back. And so Lou put us in this position that you could barely feel like you could finish, but you absolutely have to, because you got to get back to the car to get home. And so then when we got back and we talked to Lou was like, you made a breakthrough. Talking to me, it was like, they were like, tell us about this breakthrough that you made, and so that was helping inform us on what it means to exercise to the point to where you enter into this natural state of uncontrived meditation, because that last part, you're just so in, you're like, I've got to get back, and your mind just clears, and all you can think about is that one step after the other step after the other step, and there's no room for any other thoughts to come through because you're so overwhelmed. And Lou was like, let that inform your exercise.
So should we reaching that point every day?
I mean, I don't know about every day, I think yeah. But you could say that you want to reach that, but every day is going to be different, and you may reach that point within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't take you 3. It took Bryce and I 3.5 hours, and it took us, really, you could say that it took us almost 3 hours to get to that place. It was only within the last 30 minutes that we were in the meditation part of our exercise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you have responsibilities as a mother. And so I can't give you personal advice on how many days a week you could do that. But for me, I've got to get to that point at least 5 days a week, or Lou's going to call me lazy.
See, I think of Lou had a chat with me, I think he'd be saying, Paula, you're being lazy.
Yeah, it's definitely possible because I get called out on it. Even when I think I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It'll say, Todd,
I don't know. I
don't
go
be
through
lazy.
phases. I'll be really, really good for quite a few weeks, and then I have like a down bit again, and then I get back on track, and I'm good again for a few weeks, and then I go down again, and just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, you just don't give up, and there's been times where I haven't felt good. I just recently got over a back thing, which Lou says was part of my transformation that's happening right now, and a massive headache after that. And so you'll enter those times where your body is healing, where you're not even just your body, your being is healing because you're going through stuff. Yeah. And when you go through stuff, you need time to heal. And so
I've had like tonsillitis all week, and I literally spent 3 days just getting the kids to school and then coming home and going to bed because I just couldn't do anything else.
Right. Yeah. And so that, you need rest then. But, Lou reminds us that your body can take more than you think. I used to be, it's really weird. I've just come out of this. I used to think that I needed more rest. He said I was napping like a baby. He's like, you're not a baby. You're not a child. You're not growing anymore. Quit napping quit napping like a baby. He was telling me that was killing me. Like my napping was killing me. And I was thinking the reverse. I was thinking that I just needed more rest. I'm getting older. I just need more rest. It was like, no, you don't. You need to work harder. And so I was shocked by that.
I know, isn't it? Yeah, I find that it's just crazy.
And most of the time I don't feel like it, but I force myself to. This morning my back was hurting again, and I was like, oh, I got this conference with Bryce's students, and I'll just rest. And then I heard Lou, don't be lazy. And so I just spontaneously just jumped up, did not feel like it, and just forced get on the mat and just go. And you're halfway through and you're just like, thank God I did this, and it's done, and you're even more thankful. And so, a lot of the time it's not going to feel right, it's not going to feel natural, it's not going to feel good. It's just like you force yourself to do it. And never have I done it, never have I exercised and at the end felt like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, and then pushing through, like I don't take naps anymore, which sort of sucks, but anyway, it is what it is. And I'm always surprised at how much energy I have when I feel me like, oh, I should just lie down on the couch for a little while, just an hour, just 20 minutes. I'll just ignore it and push through, and then I'll have even more energy than I ever thought that I was going to have, and I'm thankful that I did push through. And I get more done, and then I don't have Lou getting after me and calling me lazy, and
getting scolded by Lou.
Absolutely, it'll be the first thing. Or if I'm mean to Bryce, say something sharp to Bryce, first thing, and get on the board. Sometimes before they even introduce themselves, be nice to Bryce or be nice to Robbie. I'll get impatient with Robbie, and the first thing, and then I'll say, who do we have with us? And they go, oh, Lou, LOL. So they definitely keep me in line.
Oh, that's so funny. I just wanted to ask one last question. Oh, no, sorry, Isabella, you go first.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I always have something to say.
No.
That made me think of, when you think, oh, I'm tired, I should rest. I've noticed that, for example, right now I'm editing all these videos, and it honestly makes my brain want to explode. And I'm sitting on the computer, and I'm my eyes are shutting at times because I'm this is just driving me insane.
Right.
But the best thing I can do is put on my jacket because it's really cold, and play a few songs and walk really fast around the block. And then I come back, and then I'm I can do it again.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's great. Yeah. And I do that too. Sometimes when I start feeling tired and feel like I want to take a nap, I'll just get Robbie on the leash and go take him for a walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I get back, I'm feel like I'm renewed. Yeah.
Yeah. And it also, when we first started this conversation and you were talking about how you were, when you were younger, you would meditate for hours and you realized that was dissociation. And then you said, really the real meditation comes from when you're deep in your exercise. So there's that. I wanted to ask, but I think you just kind of answered it. Like the difference between the meditation where you were sitting for a few hours, that's dissociative, and then that meditation you feel when you're on the last 2 miles of that hike or in the peak of your workout.
Right.
That that is a different feeling, right? So it's like a right, like
Absolutely.
instead of
No,
your mind being floating, your mind is like in you, or
Right.
you're all in your body.
You're grounded in yourself. Yeah. And the energy is moving. That's the important part, is the energy is moving. When you're sitting, the energy is
Oh
like,
yeah.
there's no energy moving. You're trying to, and so that's the important part here. We're thinking meditation is the absence of energy, but actually meditation is the addition of more energy moving. Yeah. And then also thinking that meditation shouldn't necessarily be what I would say contrived. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm going to sit right here, and I'm going to stop my thoughts, or let my thoughts stop. And that is, in a way, you're contriving this state that you think what that state is. Yeah. And that's more illusion. Yeah. But when you're exercising, you're doing it for your body, your energetic system, and then it just like happens. So you're not necessarily needing to get on your exercise mat or whatever and start exercising and thinking, I'm going to meditate. You're like, I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to get myself to that point that my heart rate is so high and I reach my limit, and it's just going to naturally happen. Yeah. And I think that eventually maybe creates the situation where it could just it flows into your everyday life. Yeah, because the energy is moving. Because I think that's from what I understand, that's what feeds that meditative state, is that your energy is moving. You're grounded in yourself, and the energy is just freely moving in your body. Yeah, and you get that through Mula and Uddiyana Bandha, that lower core strength, which helps you keep the energy in. Yeah, because really in the end, it's no longer this crude contraction of Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. It's an energetic connection. Yeah, and so yeah.
And when you can do that in the morning, I've noticed like that sets you up, right? And that's what they teach in yoga is,
Right.
and well, at least just from what I know from you guys, the teachers always practice before they would teach students, because
Right.
then they're set up.
Right. Unless you
Their
get older
energy's
like me,
already
and then I
ready.
practice after, but yeah.
Okay.
I used to practice before I taught. I don't do that anymore. I need all my energy, I could get for when I teach, but I still work myself to death after,
Totally.
But but normally you do it first thing in the morning is best. Yeah. I don't like, my day starts, I wake up, eat breakfast, go teach, and then I come home, and then I exercise before I do anything else. So that's, my morning is just longer, more extended, my morning of exercise. You could say me teaching is just warm up, and then I get home and I further that. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's important. First thing before you go about your day and start doing your work. Yeah. Outside of exercise. Yeah. So it's better first thing, empty stomach. Yeah. Because I'll eat breakfast in the morning, but then I won't eat I'll eat at 4 a.m., but I won't eat again until like 10:30. So my stomach is empty by the time I get back to home and start exercising. So and also, you're giving your meditation through exercise priority, in the morning. So you're taking yourself freshly woken up, all of your energy restored, depending on how well you slept, but still all your energy restored. And then you're taking that stored up energy and you're putting it into your exercise, which is going to feed you through the rest of the day. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Well, I think we've been
Hour and a half.
about an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
I'm glad you stuck
Anybody
around,
else?
Paula. I thought you were going to dip out.
Hey, oh, I know. Because it's like nearly 12 o'clock here, like midnight. So I was just
wow.
like, I don't think
Yeah.
I'm going to last. But the conversation's just been so amazing. I'm like
Yeah.
ready to keep going.
Yeah, and it's important. The other thing is I've realized that a good time for magic spells and things like that and intentions, because that's a spell. Yeah, you're putting your intentions in something. Is to think about what it is that you want to rid yourself of before you exercise, and think about how that exercise is feeding that intention. It's directing it. Yeah. So magic, it's crazy the things I've realized through Lou of things that we don't think are magic that are like have a huge impact, like on all levels. Magic happens all the time. Things, the words we say, rituals that we do, little things have huge impacts. And that those things that we don't think are spells that we're casting are major spells.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for sitting through this video with Paula and me today. And of course, this back half of the video, which honestly was just snippets from a longer conversation that Todd had in his conference with our students over on Fusion Body Studio. If you found this conversation riveting and you want more information and you really want to take the time to work on yourself so you can absolutely get out of this karmic cycle of third density, or just to better your life, to have a better experience in the life you're in, then I would absolutely love to have you over on Fusion Body Studio. We're going to be doing way more conferences with Todd, way more conferences with other master teachers. And so don't forget to use our new code, NEWYOU, NEWYOU 26, new you for the year 2026. That's all caps, new you 26. All that information will be down in the description box below. It's good for a one-time purchase of 40% off. So you can use that for 1 month, but honestly, with the 40% discount, I would use it for a bigger purchase, like a whole year's membership or a quarter membership. But nonetheless, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.